Morning to one and all. This is Navin Kumar Sriramoju. As I promised you that I'm starting a video lecture series on the subject called as machine learning operations. So this subject will be helping us to understand what is the difference between developing a model in machine learning and the way you train it and update the model, right? So here the main target is to bridge the gap between machine learning and the operations that are involved for building a model, deploying a model, monitoring a model, and maintaining a model, so that the machine learning systems will be reliable. So here in this subject we are going to discuss about the ML development, CI and CD automation, deployment, monitoring, and feedback and retraining if required. So before I start this exact subject, I have a small question for you. The question is like, if you have studied machine learning, right? So how many of you have built a machine learning model on your own? Many of the people, what they'll do is like they will be taking a data set, making some pre-processing operations, and apply the existing models that are already in the library. But here we are targeting about developing our own model, so that data set will be tuned based upon the requirements we have, or according to the requirements given by the client. So now the first question is this. The second question is, have you used any machine learning model before, right, by building it on your own? And the third one is, if so, some people may yes for these two questions. So if people are telling yes for question number one, yes for question number two, then the third question should be very much understandable, like the models that we have developed are to be used in the real world today. If not, there is no use of developing the models. So if you are okay with this type of questions, so we'll go into the next concept of discussing the topic with the help of an example here. So this is one example. So I'll take the help of an OTT, and I will be telling you what exactly happens in the OTT platform. I have taken an example of Netflix, but generally in any OTT, this is the thing happens. So now, if you open any OTT, it will be recommending you some movies. So there will be millions of users. So there will be millions of movies, and day by day people start taking subscriptions, and the platform also try to add new movies as they release in the market. So in order to cater all these parameters, why? Because the numbers we are seeing are in millions, so we need to use a machine learning model, right? So here what actually Netflix is doing here, the Netflix is doing like it will collect user activity data, pre-process the data, train the model in such a way that it will recommend the exact requirement of the user. Suppose I watch comedy movies, then my recommendation list should have only comedy movies in the line. So it will deploy to production and monitor the performance, and if possible it should be able to retrain the new data. So this is all happening only with the help of a subject called as machine learning operations. The purpose of machine learning subject is to deploy the model and close the door. That's all. So it is not going to work further on the model. Its duty completes only when we complete the phase called as deployment of the model on particular data set we have taken and we have pre-processed. So here now, if we have machine learning model and if we do not have machine learning operations, the Netflix may make a mistake of giving wrong recommendations to the users because the Netflix has used a model that is trained on the existing data but not on the newly added data. So here this is one example I would like to take in order to understand exactly what happens if at all we do not care the new data that is added to the database. I'll take one more example here. This example is about receiving a mail and identifying it whether it is a spam mail or a genuine mail. So we already have some machine learning models which will identify a incoming mail based upon some symptoms, or we can say some parameters or some learned things, that one mail can be a spam mail if we found out any what we can say malicious links, unknown links, right? Or else we can directly classify it as a known mail or a genuine mail. So here this is what we have done with machine learning. But here in the real time market today, what happening is like cyber attacks are being done in new ways, so that the model which is predefined with some definitions may not identify the newly arrived mail in the Gmail inbox. So for that, what we need to do is we need to take the help of the subject called as machine learning operations, which will be keeping on monitoring the machine learning model, which will be keeping on detecting the performance, and which will be keeping on retraining the new data that is added time by time. So here if this is done, the result will be like the model will be staying accurately even when spammers invent new tricks to attack. So these are the two examples which are telling that only using machine learning may not be sufficient, and in place of machine learning there is a need to use the subject called as machine learning operations, with which you can easily handle the upcoming scenarios and unknown data. Once this is done, this is the thing generally a machine learning model should do, and if at all it does all these operations mentioned here, then we can say that the data, the model, the performance, and the metrics are on the safe side. So here what happens is like the machine learning model that what we have taken should able to accept the new data that is coming into the line. All right, so collect and ingest new data continuously, and once it is done, we go with retraining the data, and we will be deploying the trained data, retrained data automatically. And in the process if we face any errors, so we have defined the system in such a way that the errors that already happened and the errors that are going to happen will be monitored properly, so that we may take some proactive steps in order to identify whether the performance is degrading or not, then take an action in order to stay back constantly and perform constantly. So this is the total process defined in the subject that we are going to discuss in this semester called as machine learning operations, which is said to be an advanced version of machine learning subject. And this is the exact difference between machine learning subject and machine learning operation subject. So here if at all you understand, on the left side you can see that machine learning duty is mainly composed of three steps. One is data, then training the data, then deploying the model, and seeing the parameters performance whether it is okay or not. Mainly focuses on building a model, right? And its work ends once the model is trained. This is said to be a limited version, and as a counterpart to this, we are going to have a machine learning operation subject, in which what all the steps we have taken in machine learning subject will be there. Apart from there are some supplementary steps which are making the model to keep updated and to make the performance keep steady. So here, the first step is collecting the data, then training the data, then testing the data, right? So this is nothing but maybe in the ratio of 80 is to 20 or 70 is to 30. Studies are telling that if at all you take the ratio of 80 is to 20, you may get some good parametric performance. Then versioning is all about recording all the changes that we are going to make either in the data set we have taken or in the model corrections that we are going to make in the process of deployment. Then deployment, monitoring and retraining, and again same process. So this is a cycle type of thing where we, at any point, if you check, then the data set will be updated, kept updated, the model will be kept updated, the parameters will be keeping the same performance altogether, right? And once this is done, we are going to define the subject called as machine learning operations. So here the definition goes like this, where machine learning operations is a set of practices that combines machine learning subject, DevOps subject, and data engineering subject to automate and streamline the entire life cycle of machine learning models. It ensures that machine learning models are developed, deployed, monitored, and maintained efficiently in the production environment. So, machine learning operations is said to be the combination of the earlier existing subjects, such as machine learning. If at all you have some basics of machine learning, you have some basics of how the subject DevOps has come up and evolved, and what is data engineering, and how we are going to deal with the data content. Then it is easy for us to understand how machine learning operations works on. So the main target of this is to keep the process of machine learning models updated in the process of developing, in the process of deploying, in the process of monitoring, or in the process of maintaining the system efficiently, so that we will get the exact results. And this is a life cycle earlier we have discussed in the last slide. First is data collection, then data preparation, or we can say it has data pre-processing, then model training, then model evaluation, whether to check whether the chosen model is appropriate for the data set that we have taken, and are we going to achieve the results appropriately or accurately. Then deployment, then monitoring and maintaining, and retraining. So this is how the subject goes, and this is the introduction part of the subject. And from tomorrow, then in the next video we are going to talk about DevOps, a small video on DevOps, so that you'll get to understand that what app exactly we do in DevOps. Then we'll go with data engineering. We will see there what happens in data engineering, exact phases involved in data engineering. Then we'll come back to machine learning and we'll continue the lecture series. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.